What's up, guys? All right. Hope everybody's Monday's been good so far. Welcome back. Looks like IG's rolling. All right, good evening, esteemed viewers and cherished community. I'm Dr. Joaquin Acosta, your guide on this enlightening journey of the Know Your Pharmacist live stream. As the CEO of PharmTrue, I'm here to bridge the gap between advanced healthcare and your daily life. In tonight's episode, we're not just exploring the realm of healthcare, we are pioneering into the future where compassion meets innovation. Our discussions tonight are not just words. They are the keys to unlock a world where the health transcends boundaries and care knows no limits. Let us embark on a path of discovery where we unravel the complexities of medicine and demystify the miracles of technology. With each topic we cover, we're not just sharing information, we're weaving a tapestry of knowledge, empathy, and empowerment. Our agenda tonight is a testament to our relentless pursuit of excellence, from analyzing the latest breakthroughs in medical science to delving into the intricacies of mental health. We stand at the intersection of hope and reality, and as we discuss, debate, and decipher, we do so not as passive observers, but as active participants in the world of health and wellness. Together, we'll explore the vibrant landscape of healthcare, guided by the North Star of unbiased, accurate information. In our pursuit, we are not just seeking answers, we are nurturing understanding, fostering connections, and building a community that thrives on knowledge and mutual support. So tune in, engage, and be part of this transformative experience. Together, let's shape a healthier, more informed world. Remember, in our journey towards wellness, every step counts and your voice matters. Welcome to Know Your Pharmacist live stream. Let's make this an unforgettable evening of learning, inspiration, and empowerment. Hope everybody's day is going good. Guys, let's jump on in. Cyber issues still happening in the world of healthcare. Our military are the ones still affected, guys. Sharing this with you right now. Coming out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Alrighty. All right.
Cyber attack is making it difficult for people all over the country and here in Albuquerque to get their medication. News 13's Chandler Farnsworth explains.
Now we're starting to get into panic mode. What do we do now?
That's John Fischel, a Navy veteran who served for 20 years, explaining what it's been like trying to get medication for himself and his wife for the past few weeks at a Kirtland Air Force Base pharmacy.
The recording said the system is down. We are no longer able to process new or renewal prescriptions until further notice.
According to a press release from Military Health System Communications, the largest drug processing company in the country, Change Healthcare, reported a cyber attack sometime in February. To protect patient information, the company disconnected their systems February 21st, affecting all military pharmacies, clinics, and hospitals in the country, and anyone on the health program TRICARE.
You can't take that prescription from Kirkland and transfer it to an outside pharmacy because it's already in their system and their system is down.
The elderly couple say they go to the base for prescriptions because officials' health benefits from serving in the Navy, allowing them to get medicine for free. But after several weeks of not getting refills or new prescriptions filled, the couple's concerns are growing.
We're at a stalemate. We're in the, 12th, 13th day with nothing done yet, and we're still waiting for it to be resolved.
According to the press release, as of March 1st, military clinics and hospitals will provide prescriptions but will do the process manually. It also states that military pharmacies will prioritize filling urgent prescriptions first, something Fischel says he was told over the phone.
Is you bring out your list of medications and we'll decide which ones are critical and we might be able to refill them.
The couple say they plan on going to the base on Monday to see if they are able to finally get some much-needed medication. Chandler Farnsworth, KRQE News 13.
It is still unclear when this issue will be resolved.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, What are we looking at? Just a really, really, not only security threat, but overall an incredibly embarrassing fumble for our healthcare system. Our military pharmacies are the ones that are still being affected to this day. Guys, Walgreens, CVS, Kirkland Air Force Base can't dispense prescriptions? It's been 2 weeks. Give me a break. Like, really, US government and whoever else, right? But this is TRICARE, you're exposed. US government and military pharmacies, you are exposed. Walgreens and CVS even figured it out faster than you. Why is this still a problem? Seriously. And that's our Pharmacist Frontline segment. I hope these guys got their medications today from the Kirkland Air Force Base, but to hear they're manually filling prescriptions, there's no backup plan? You're telling me our United States military pharmacy has no contingency plan to what happens if they had a breach of data? They just went by the whims of their tails. Really awesome, frustrating though. So I will jump off of that and let's jump on to talking a little bit about public health. Guys, I saw some good stuff here talking about, just the way that, artificial intelligence should be leveraged for better public health campaigns. And you know what this drove me to contemplate? Well, really, it's looking at, New Mexico Department of Health and all your vaccine, blasts. Let's all remember last year, if you ever got a vaccine through the New Mexico Department of Health, COVID vaccine especially, the Department of Health sent out blasts for about 2 years straight that had nothing to do with whether or not you were boosted. And so whether or not your vaccines were current, they still blasted you. So who had to deal with all of that over the last 2 years? Me and every single other person working in the pharmacies. And that didn't make any sense at all, because you're sitting there answering questions because they're saying, hey, I got a notification from the Department of Health that I'm due for my booster, because the Department of Health sent me an email. And all these people, we go pull up their records and they're fully boosted. They're fully caught up, right? So, this is the issue that I'm talking about today, that hopefully, New Mexico Department of Health, you're listening or already have your own plans going, but your e-blast, as somebody who has blasted off 20,000 emails in the last 2 weeks myself, I've learned very, very fast over the last 5 years on how to do this. And our state should be doing it a lot better than me. So at the end of the day, personalized public health messaging that's actually accurate. How can we achieve those things, right? Well, perhaps your record, your database, historical record, they call the system NIMSIS, right? Your New Mexico Immunization Software Platform, whatever it's called for the acronym. And so that's where all the New Mexican residents, your theoretical, historical New Mexico vaccine data should all get logged in there. Still is not a overall historical log. It's just your log for the state of New Mexico for whichever, entity at the time was registered to actually put in your vaccines into this system. So, this system got tested pretty well in COVID, right? This is pretty much where we really, really got to see this system, really, really get pushed to its limits. That's a big failure from my side there that I noticed, because not only did this end up leading to people getting boosted when they shouldn't have gotten boosted, this led to a myriad of wasted time for everybody. So you've got, pretty much the entire state of New Mexico calling pharmacies to go verify whether or not they're current on their shots, because the Department of Health sent them an email saying they need a new shot, because the Department of Health was just blasting whatever at whatever given time, but people were caught up. So, talking about how do you have a better public health campaign, actually personalized towards our state residents or city residents or whatever you want to be, you got to hit people in their own, niches of demographics, right? If you're going to remind everybody who's getting a, new booster, it should actually be the people who are eligible for a new booster. blanket coverage of let's just send it all out. Sure, been there, done that. That doesn't do anybody any good. Reflecting on that here in 2024, how do we make that a better flu season this year, COVID boosting season this year? You know, we'll see how it all hashes out, but I think that there is some very, very good potential for this to be, you know, really, really tailored in much better ways, right? Say, for instance, if you have a vulnerable subset of the population that, you know, might be needing some communication in the state of New Mexico, well, you know, if you had all your HIV and AIDS, you know, patients or residents of the state of New Mexico that you could actually communicate and blast with to, you know, help communicate whatever information it may need to be at the time, you know, that's a very good way to get all of your little state programs where you have, you know, state programs for HIV and, you know, hepatitis and whatever other, you know, really expensive, you know, specialty diseases that the state covers. Shoot, even for, right, like our overdose and addiction, right? Where can some of this actually be, you know, campaigned in the right spots to help, you know, people that, you know, get the message in the right place to the right people, right? If you see, you know, I know it's simple, right? You want to quack like a duck, you got to quack like a duck, right? And the New Mexico Department of Health needs to understand that. Not everybody in the state of New Mexico needs a COVID booster, you know, at whatever given time. Everybody needs it on their own schedule. Technology can help you stay on everybody's personal schedules without, you know, mixing up everybody else, right? So public health, hope to see it here. I would put New Mexico on the last of the list to actually do something about it. But, you know, AI moves so freaking fast that the last of the list could be this year or whatever. Otherwise, that's my heated advice. I would love to talk to anybody in the state who has any sort of confusion about that. Let's talk efficiency. Let's talk about better healthcare access. Let's talk about fixing shit. All right, moving on. Enlightenment hour. So, breaking this down to you guys. Cool podcast here from Dr. Leaf. I'm going to show you her little blog page. Reviewing one of her podcasts I wanted to go over today. I thought it had some decent relevance for the times still. Anyways, how to unsubscribe from toxic thinking with Harvard-trained psychologist Dr. Sasha Hines. And, you know, bringing this down, Dr. Leaf, Caroline Leaf has a entire, you know, psychoneurobiology studies and everything going on. So she's really, you know, taken very, very deep looks in terms of the brain and neuropsychology and neuroplasticity, all the good stuff that, you know, all of us are trying to biohack now these days that for whatever reason they seemed to have it figured out, you know, 100 years ago a lot better than now, where again, our minds are so stimulated by whatever inputs we are receiving all day through whatever, you know, electrical means or even physical means to, you know, process information. And so does that get stored in your conscious mind? Absolutely. Does it get stored in your non-conscious mind? Absolutely. Does your unconscious mind ever turn off? No, it never does. Right. So again, the actual science of, you know, breaking this down, how to unsubscribe from toxic thinking. 20, this is, you know, put yourself back to a time and a place. One for the books. You know, amid a global pandemic, so much is uncertain and unknown. What will the future look like? What will tomorrow look like? What will the world be like after this is all over? It's not surprising that many people are struggling with anxiety, grief, depression, anger, and loneliness. We have all experienced low moments over the past few months, and thankfully there's a way we can calm mental chaos. They're experimenting to take back control. So talking, you know, Harvard-trained psychologist, Dr. Sasha Hines, on how to get a handle on anxiety and how to go from knowing what to do to doing it, how to unsubscribe from your thoughts, how to handle fears and frustrations, and what we can do now to create our future even when facing the unknown. So, you know, first, when it comes to taking back control over our minds, we need to know the difference between knowing what to do and doing it. Everyone struggles with this intention-action gap. It's frustrating knowing what to do but not doing it, which is why we need to focus on our thinking. As Dr. Sasha notes, to go from knowledge to action, we need to close the mindset gap. Our actions follow our thoughts, and if we don't change how we think, we cannot change our behavior. This is especially true during the current pandemic. It's easy to feel like our minds are racing and all over the place. The mental chaos will make us feel anxious even if we don't know the source of our angst, especially when we're stuck at home for long periods of time. The key to controlling this is to see our anxiety, fears, and worries as signals to redirect and refocus our energy. We can do this by giving our mind something to focus on, any skill or activity that requires some learning and skill building, such as sport, hobby, cooking and knitting, or even a simple task like organizing the kitchen cabinets. This activity should not be too easy, or our mind will start wandering again, or too difficult, which can make us more stressed out. It should allow us to lose our sense of self or get in the zone, which in turn calms the mind down and the nervous system down and allows our mental energy to flow normally. This is a way of getting unstuck. It gives the brain something to focus on so it can relax within a structured and controlled environment. Seems, simple food for thought, but, is it really that simple? Because again, talking about everyone struggles with this intention-action gap, right? How do you actually close the gap, right? If you don't change how you think, you can't change your behavior. So another one, easy to get sucked into for people, avoid too much passive entertainment. Although watching a movie or a TV show now and then can be a good way to relax and unwind after a long day, during the current times, it's time to be careful of not falling into the trap of the extended weekend. Happy Monday. Passively watching TV or consuming entertainment will not get rid of that nagging sense of anxiety that comes when we're in a mental state of chaos. In fact, it can be emotionally numbing, like an atrophy of muscles, putting fuel on the fire when we start experiencing anxiety and stress again. So how do you get to the root of the issue? If we ignore or try to suppress our feelings, especially the uncomfortable emotions we do not want to face, we can end up making things worse. And, as been said before, suppressed emotions eventually explode and can take over our mental life. We have to get to the root of what's going on in our life. What are the causes, the thoughts behind the uncomfortable emotions we're experiencing? What's the underlying cause or causes of anxiety, right? So as you do that, we're using the mind to get to the root of what's going on and changing the brain. We start changing our cognitive interpretation of what's happening to us and around us. By examining our reactions, thoughts, emotions, and actions, we can find our thoughts that are creating our feelings and actions, and in reality, change them, thereby changing our future. So, how does someone go about actually looking within and finding, their own thoughts, not letting, someone else live in your head rent-free, not letting, whatever negative thoughts live in your head rent-free, like a very easy cliche saying to say, right? So, breaking that all down here comes down to also not suppressing our emotions. So feelings like grief, anger, sadness, and depression, they're normal parts of life. Say it again, normal parts of life. The capacity to love and feel deeply is what makes life worth living. Trying to suppress the negative will also suppress the positive, limiting our emotional repertoire and impacting our ability to truly enjoy life. In fact, when we try to suppress our uncomfortable feelings and emotions, we can make them worse. This is what Dr. Sasha calls dirty pain, as resisting or fighting things like grief and sadness can make a situation more stressful, compounding our anxiety and mental distress. You see a negative feedback loop, right? Got to switch that into a positive feedback loop. First way is to understand how the loop works so that you can act upon it. It's a choice. Even if it feels like it's not, it is, right? Even if you need an extra help or an extra push, sure, but it's still a choice at the end of the day. Clean pain, on the other hand, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret, heard that one before, right? Is when we surrender our feelings to the moment, embracing them and seeking out what they are telling us about ourselves. When we do this, we are better able to navigate our own emotional landscape and can learn how to handle our emotions instead of getting overwhelmed by them. When it comes to your thoughts and feelings, you always need to remember that you have the power to control what goes on in your head. Every thought that you think is optional. Next time you find yourself in a state of mental chaos, imagine your mind as a buffet of thoughts, the golden corral of thoughts. You have picked up certain thoughts, feelings, and actions over time, but now you get to decide who you are and what you believe about yourself. What thoughts are useful? What thoughts do you want to keep? What thoughts do you want to unsubscribe from? Remind yourself you're in control and you have cognitive sovereignty, right? How to break that down piece by piece and get back those means of control. Find an anxious moment, find an angry moment, find a moment when you're in a state of fight or flight. Try to unpack 5 to 7 thoughts, write them down on your phone, take a note of it, mental note. Clear your mind if you can, and take a good, clear look at those thoughts in your brain that you came down with when you were in flight or flight. Dissect them, pick them apart. What did they come from? Why are you having those thoughts? You know what I mean? Even if it feels awkward, just do it, try it. See if your brain, which it's built and designed to do, can do exactly what science said it will do, that will make your life a whole heck of a lot better. And that's our Enlightenment Hour. Guys, let's jump on to some more news today actually last Friday, from Governor's House. Signing a bill strengthening New Mexico cannabis regulations. What does that mean for us? Say the good guys. Hope everybody's shopping high horse. First of all, in this segment, got all the great deals, March Madness deals, guys. 1 gram for $25. Farmers Quality Concentrates now up to 2 grams for $40. Farmers Quality Concentrates, guys, great stuff. You can check out our Farm True 1-to-1s. Boom, boom, boom. Get them at High Horse 24/7, 365, guys. But also rolling out some great hash from Smoky Road Farms. That hash actually flew off the shelves. We loaded up here in the last couple of weeks, and it's gone. And we're loading up again. So go check out that hash if you definitely have not tried it. Smoky Road Farms hash rosin. Some really good locally pressed stuff. That farm is out there like around La Mesa area. So good stuff. Hash rosin is the all natural, right? Extract, as natural as you will ever get, where water is your solvent. Not using any hydrocarbons, not using any ethanol, water and ice, heat, time, and pressure. You get her done. Some people love it. Some people, But this Smoky Road Farm stuff, the people have spoken. That stuff just flies. So go get it. Otherwise, 2 gram vaporizers from Dime, from Enjoy, Cure Enjoy. Farmers Quality just released a new vape as well, or at least we picked it up at High Horse Underdog. So go check all that stuff out, guys. Really great. And if you haven't already heard me there, really, please, I implore you to click this one, vote for the ESSEs 2024, vote High Horse Cannabis Company for best dispensary in the Southeast and Southwest quadrant, best dispensary, 4 stores or more, best flower overall, best wholesale macro producer, High Horse Cannabis Company. I would please implore your vote for the ESSE Award for 2023 Best Advocate, and for my company Farm True 2023 Best Advocacy Group. Guys, we grinded last year. I'm dead ass. I will debate each and any single one of you people that I'm running against, and let's see what you've done. Let's see if it's just a marketing ploy for you or if you've actually given back. Are you worth an ESSE? Because I sure am. We're going for it. All right, back to New Mexico. Advertisements. Let's watch the clip.
signed a bill strengthening cannabis regulations in the state. It comes nearly 2 years after recreational cannabis became legal in New Mexico. The new law cracks down on unlicensed and out-of-state cannabis products and closes a loophole that was allowing people to get licenses without federal background checks. It also adds rules to ensure product packaging does not appeal to children.
Cheryl started nutrition.
So, for the good players out there, really doesn't affect much. For the bad players, got to keep chipping away at that block. So, if anything that hurts the cannabis industry, it's just bad regulation from, other states not being regulated, which helps our market, but hurts our market sometimes too. So, you know what I mean? You got to do what you got to do. Please vote for me in the SEs, and let's move on to the community spotlight, brought to you by the Big Chicken Farm. Guys, and I know everybody's seen this news, and I just, not even gonna talk too much about it besides a moment of silence for Las Cruces High School student that passed away, I believe on Friday in a car crash, traveling for a volleyball tournament to Midland. Samantha Bursum, our community is weeping your loss. Crazy the way life comes at you, comes at us. Never take any life for granted. And, right now on the Know Your Pharmacist live stream, I definitely want to have a quick moment of silence. Feel free to say a little prayer for her if you haven't already, her family, schools, everybody else affected. We really do hope and pray for peace in such a tragedy here. And last things, guys, in our men's health minute, this applies to women too, of course, but just wanted to give a good little reminder here today because, guys, that cold and flu season is quickly turning into the windy season, into allergy season around here. What does that mean? Well, people are going to be taking decongestants. For those of you who actually go and buy Sudafed over by presenting your driver's license and ID, I definitely highly recommend Sudafed for those of you without heart conditions, for those of you who aren't on blood pressure medication with high blood pressure. Sudafed is a great decongestant. Everything else sucks. I mean, you could talk about your antihistamines, sure, right? But what really turns it off? Sudafed, for dang sure, and it doesn't put people to sleep, doesn't make you tired, doesn't make you groggy. In fact, does the opposite. Not sitting here encouraging anybody to, take the opposite effect from Sudafed, but, pharmacy school hack there is, plenty of pharmacy school students definitely use Sudafed to study, use Sudafed to take tests. I've seen people use Sudafed to work out. Not anything I do by any means. I've tried those things, not gonna lie, right? Like, it's cool. I mean, I get the feeling of being desperate. I get the feeling of wanting to be focused and being constricted, sure, right? Is it slightly kind of a cousin to like an Adderall? Kind of, sure. But it's a really effective decongestant. Very effective. So effective, it will raise your blood pressure. If you've got a stressed out heart, cardiovascular conditions, don't take this medication. This is why they have high blood pressure, cough and cold medications. So you don't take Sudafed. You don't go digging in the cabinet for a pseudoephedrine and take that, and you've been on high blood pressure medication. We don't want to do those things. And if you're a man over the age of 50, the only other thing to be careful with Sudafed is it will turn off your ability to pee, right? So you will not be voiding as much, significantly not be voiding as much. So, for some people that could be a problem. And so in those certain situations, prostate issues, I kind of definitely don't love Sudafed for our men over in the age over 50 bracket with prostate issues. Definitely don't like it for anybody with high blood pressure or cardiovascular issues. But, you know, in terms of the go-to, best bang for your buck, best way to go about getting in and out of this cold and flu season in one piece, geez, pseudoephedrine is, you know, that's a winner for most people. So, you know, that's my spiel. Again, always talk to your pharmacist, you know, whoever, if you're up at the pharmacy counter purchasing pseudoephedrine, you know, let them know, you know, if you're pregnant, breastfeeding, let them know if you're, you know, whatever you got going on. High blood pressure, of course, huge ones. Pharmacists usually are pretty good about asking these things. Sometimes people can be in a hurry and these things don't get covered. So that's why I'm talking about it right now, right? For whatever situation you might find yourself in or not in. Last thing, don't waste your money on over-the-counter pseudoephedrine products or phenylephrine. So check that, you know, active ingredient. If it says phenylephrine and it's spelled Sudafed, S-U-D, if it's not spelled P-S-E-U-D-O-E-P-H-E-D-R-I-N-E, pseudoephedrine, then it's spelled Sudafed, which is just the, you know, lipstick on a pig version. Phenylephrine, that doesn't work, does not work. And they charge for it probably, you know, almost even more than Sudafed. Go get generic Sudafed. And if it's not doing the job, add in generic Claritin, add in generic loratadine, which is generic Claritin, add in Zyrtec, right? Or cetirizine, generic for Zyrtec, because those are going to be a little less drowsy antihistamines, right, than your first generation antihistamines such as Benadryl or Clortabs, right? So I know a lot of people that Zyrtec does get them sleepy. I know some people that just, either way, just don't necessarily have a good mental acuity, really, just with antihistamines in general. You know, for me, of course, I get it. You just want to be able to function and get your life back and not just be stuck on the tissue, right? So again, for everybody right now in the time of year, Flonase is really, really actually pretty dang good idea, you know, especially if you're a seasonal allergy type of person. You know, Flonase on the daily, it's great. I would recommend getting a prescription for it. Don't buy it over the counter. It's very expensive. It's very covered under insurance usually. You know, otherwise you can take it all the way up to I don't know why I'm dropping the name on it, but Azolastine, which is another inhaled prescription, and it's a antihistamine through the nose. So it works, but it'll put you straight to bed. So I'm like, You really start looking at the windows of options for people and what people really want. It's like, all right, you're just trying to get sleep because we can do some things. But if you're trying to make it through your day and actually be a productive member of society, we got to take another look. So otherwise, that's it for me. Hope everybody has a good rest of their Monday evening. Shoot me some questions if you have them, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Happy